Y'all have got to hear this. When I see a man in a mask, I get pissed off. Man, the pinnacle of God's creation, made in his image, muzzled and emasculated. It's infuriating. Masking is a mental illness. I arrived at the airport a bit early for my flight this morning. I was working diligently on my iPad when something in my peripherals caught my eye. I looked up to see a masked couple take the seats directly across from me. Naturally, my eyes were immediately drawn towards the man. Seeing a ridiculous N95 mask covering his face enraged me. I had to do something. I felt a swell of testosterone as I locked eyes with the man sitting mere feet away from me. I was seated as I usually am, legs spread wide apart. In doing so, I immediately established that I was the alpha dog in this interaction. He kept his gaze fixed on mine for a moment, but quickly began to buckle under the pressure of my stare as he crossed his legs to make room for his effeminate messenger bag. What was only mere seconds of direct eye contact felt like hours. During that time, I felt like I truly understood the man I was wearing down with my masculinity. I saw the eyes of a man who had experienced pain. The pain of a man whose masculine aspirations of a foursome with the boys had been crushed by the nasty woman sitting to his left. A man who was bullied out of his fantasy football league by his nagging wife, right as his team was on the verge of a dynasty. A man who has allowed his masculinity and agency to be eroded like the Grand Canyon. My compassion turned to consternation, and I intensified my gaze. This man wasn't a victim, he was a coward. He surrendered his testicles in his quest for female validation and betrayed his own kind. Your mask, son, take it off, I said, leaning forward even further. It's time you act like a man again. As he reached for his mask, his wife slapped his hand down. Don't you dare take that mask off, she said in a shrill tone. You don't listen to him, you listen to me. That was the last straw for me. I stood up and approached the woman as her husband looked up at me like a child watching Superman come to his rescue. I rained hellfire down on this nasty woman, putting her in her place as only a true alpha male could. When I was finished, the only words she could utter was a shaky sorry as she removed her mask. By this point, her husband had already discarded his mask and life had returned to his lifeless eyes. He told me his name was Geoffrey, and I offered my outstretched hand with a smile and helped him up. Come with me. We're going to the concierge to get you upgraded to first class, I said as I put my arm around his shoulder. You have much to learn. We left his wife behind and headed to the Admiral's Club, where I had booked a private room. I poured 2 hot black coffees and headed in right behind Geoffrey. Before I closed the door, I fixed a sign that read, "Privacy, please. A new alpha male is being forged today." A woman lost her subservient husband today, but the world gained an alpha male. Bro, this alpha fan fiction be wildin'. This tweet is the answer to the question, what is something that gives off the same energy as Penthouse letters? Dear Penthouse, I never thought it would happen to me.